Archangel Michael says, there was a powerful storm marching toward your home with unshakable wrath, and it had one assignment: to destroy what you've been building in silence. But just moments before it could strike, it turned back. Your name, sealed in divine protection, was too powerful for it to touch. The energy around you shifted without your knowledge. The wind lost its voice the moment it approached your name. A shield, invisible to your eyes but mighty in the unseen, surrounded your life like a flaming ring. While you slept, forces moved in the heavens on your behalf. This wasn't just an accident, it was a divine override. The enemy planned to break your spirit, but the protection on you broke the enemy's route. You are not aware of how close the collapse was. The storm had your address. But the storm found something there it wasn't expecting: glory. Type Amen to get blessing 444. Someone tried to delay your progress with intentional spiritual sabotage. They saw your light rising and couldn't stand it. But they didn't understand that your path was guarded. Archangel Michael says, your name is engraved in a place where no curse can linger. There are heavenly beings assigned to carry your victories, even the ones you didn't know you needed. You've been under watch, not by people, but by presence. Every plan spoken in dark rooms about you was intercepted. Every curse muttered in silence reversed before it even landed. That sudden confusion they experienced was not random, it was a reaction to your divine armor. Type Amen to get blessing 592. The next 3 days are crucial. You will begin to see what was sent to harm you fall into the pit it dug. Someone is about to watch their plan against you turn into dust. Your name was mentioned in a secret meeting of destruction, but the minute it was uttered, chaos hit them instead. What they hoped would silence you only awakened your spiritual rank. You have been marked with favor that cannot be duplicated. There is a war going on for people like you. Quiet warriors. Silent believers. Those who shine without trying and threaten without speaking. Type Amen to get blessing 700. Archangel Michael says, your silence was a weapon, and your obedience became your shield. There is a covering that wraps around those chosen to break chains. And you, beloved, are one of them. You were supposed to experience a breakdown. A health collapse. A financial drought. But look at how God spun it in the opposite direction. Heaven whispered to the storm, not this one. The winds obeyed and turned. What was supposed to break you, bowed. There is a woman who kept watching your journey. She saw you climbing and tried to throw dirt with her words. But the words never landed because the light around you made her voice echo back at herself. Type Amen to get blessing 821. You've been in rooms where spirits were stirred by your presence. Not because of what you said, but because of what you carried. You walk in peace that disrupts evil. At night, when you felt a heavy energy around your bed, that was not your imagination. That was the enemy making one final attempt to access your dreams. But instead, he was met with a sword drawn at the gate. There was fire around your spirit. There was armor over your thoughts. Nothing passed. This is why you're still standing, even after the attacks you never saw. Because you were protected by rank, not reaction. Type Amen to get blessing 999. There was a delay designed for your journey. But when they mentioned your name, confusion hit their camp. Nothing moved in their favor after they touched your story. Archangel Michael says, the storm was loud and dark and fast. But it could not compete with the light wrapped around your future. That light grew stronger the more they tried to dim it. There was a moment recently when you felt everything go quiet. That was not emptiness. That was divine shielding locking in. When the chaos couldn't find you, it scattered. And now, the tables are turning in your favor. Type Amen to get blessing 144. Someone close to you tried to access your peace through manipulation. But the spiritual gate was closed just in time. That fake smile couldn't bypass your discernment. Every time you feel someone's energy shift after you win, notice it. They're not clapping because they never wanted to. But your protection isn't based on their approval. You don't have to defend your name. Your name is defended in higher realms. And that is why it carries weight when spoken. Even your tears were guarded. They weren't just emotions, they were alarms sent to the heavens. Type Amen to get blessing 222. A powerful storm was once aimed at your home finances. The intent was to create debt, delay, and destruction. But the divine hand erased the storm's map. You may have seen strange patterns, broken sleep, and unexpected conflict. These were signs the storm was near. But something unseen intercepted every dart. Now you will walk in calm. But don't forget how close the storm was. Don't forget how heaven showed up in silence. That silence was full of movement. That quiet was loaded with battle. Type Amen to get blessing 313. You are about to witness the exposure of the one who started this storm. Not by your words, but by divine reversal. They will fall by their own trap. They are being made to confess, not in court, but through consequence. Watch how everything they touched becomes fragile. They tried to sow wind, now they reap whirlwinds. But as for you, you will be surrounded with increase. Where fear tried to grow, faith will multiply. Where loss tried to invade, favor will flourish. Archangel Michael says, the sword drawn over your name was not lifted in vain. It is still there. It still cuts anything unclean near your door. Type Amen to get blessing 404. Someone recently noticed you're harder to reach. That's because your spirit has moved. You've shifted out of access range for the wrong people. You are no longer in rooms where you're not celebrated. That's not you being distant, it's protection removing noise. Silence is your upgrade now. The next move will shock even you. What was blocked last season will break wide open. Because now your name is ringing in the right ears. That divine silence was not rejection. It was preparation for unshakable clarity. Type Amen to get blessing 575. There is a shift in the spiritual atmosphere. Your next steps are about to be guarded by a higher frequency. You'll notice strange peace followed by divine news. The one who used to drain your energy won't be able to reach you again. That soul tie has snapped. That connection has been closed by the heavens. You've entered the realm of hidden favor. Where you no longer explain yourself, because grace speaks louder. Where you no longer chase. Because what's yours is now chasing you. The delay they tried to create will now become your speed lane. The storm they summoned will now chase them. Type Amen to get blessing 800. Even the weather obeyed the protection around your name. Rain shifted. Clouds opened. And the path cleared because of your covering. You will begin to feel lighter. Not because life is easier, but because the weight was lifted spiritually. That burden wasn't yours to carry, and now it's gone. This is your moment of divine reversal. What was aimed at you now hits the source. What they sent in silence now screams back in their direction. Watch how fast things begin to change. Your name has triggered divine enforcement. Type Amen to get blessing 111. Everything about your past that tried to return has lost power. The curse of cycles is broken. You will not return to the chaos you escaped. There is something building in your life that no one can interrupt. This is your moment of holy sealing. A contract in heaven was signed for your protection. Archangel Michael says, you don't need to explain why the storm didn't win. You need only walk forward as proof that heaven surrounds you. The testimony is already written. You survived what others would have drowned in. And now, elevation begins. Type Amen to get blessing 388. They saw you rising and tried to scatter your foundation. But your roots were not in the ground, they were in the spirit. That's why nothing shook. Your story is now turning golden. The chapter you're entering is full of new names, new territories, and open doors. You won't have to force it, it will find you. And when it finds you, they'll try to understand how. But no calculation will explain the favor you walk in. Because the truth is, the storm never stood a chance. Type Amen to get blessing 777. They thought if they slowed your steps, you would lose direction. But you were never walking alone. Every detour was guarded, and every wrong turn became a revelation. You weren't losing time, you were gaining clarity. That delay was a disguise. Hidden within it was divine strategy to remove what could have collapsed you later. What you called a setback was actually a redirection sent by heaven. And now, you're in position for the overflow. It won't just trickle, it will pour. Type Amen to get blessing 117. You are being lifted in a way that no hand can block. The promotion is spiritual before it is physical. And your enemies will witness it but won't be able to explain it. That's why the storm didn't touch you. Because your name was already rising in rooms your feet hadn't entered. Your presence was already echoing through the atmosphere. There is a light around you now that attracts what's meant for you. You don't have to beg or perform. The favor is magnetic. Someone is about to bless you without knowing why, they are being guided by your protection. Type Amen to get blessing 909. The storm wasn't just natural, it was personal. Designed to target your peace. Crafted to disturb your sleep. But it backfired. You kept your spirit quiet. You didn't fight in the flesh. And because of that, the spirit fought for you. Your battle was invisible, but the victory will be visible. What was meant to harm you will now honor you. They'll have to watch you rise higher than where they tried to pull you down from. They tried to drag your name into drama, but your name floats above slander. Type Amen to get blessing 616. There are people who smiled at you with jealousy in their hearts. But the angels saw what you couldn't. That's why you've been divinely distanced from certain energies. Let them go without guilt. That was protection too. What you lost was actually a parasite. God is not subtracting. He is pruning. Removing what blocks your bloom. The people who made you question your value are about to be shocked by your visibility. Because your name is becoming heavy in heavenly places. Type Amen to get blessing 818. Archangel Michael says, every weapon that was formed against you is now melting. Not one dart can penetrate the seal over your spirit. You've been declared untouchable in the realm that matters. The whispers behind your back were silenced by divine command. Your light grew too loud for their lies to survive. Their stories unraveled under truth's spotlight. They tried to stir storms with gossip. But heaven turned it into a flood of blessings for you. The more they talked, the more oil flowed. You're not bitter. You're better. And that's why the storm lost its power. Type Amen to get blessing 334. Your dreams are shifting now. Pay attention to what you see in the night. New instructions are coming through your spirit. The next door doesn't need your effort, it needs your awareness. Be sensitive to the signs. They're being sent daily. You'll notice strange peace in the midst of motion. That's how you'll know you've stepped into the place of protection. No more looking over your shoulder. Now you move forward covered. No harm will locate you. Type Amen to get blessing 505. There is someone who tried to trace your energy through spiritual means. But they were stopped. Their attempts created backlash for them instead. You've been hidden in plain sight. What they thought they could reach, they never even touched. Your life is under lock and key. You are walking through places people thought were impossible for you. And still, you walk humbly, because you know who fought for you in silence. Everything that was sent to bury you is now turning into a platform that lifts you. Type Amen to get blessing 212. There's a place you're about to walk into that was once closed to your name. But now, your name is being brought up in rooms where influence sits. The divine covering has made you a topic of elevation. Expect strange favor. Expect approval where you didn't even apply. Because the storm's reversal shifted everything into acceleration. Where there was delay, there will be flow. Where there was rejection, there will be recognition. Where there was silence, there will be announcement. You are stepping into the part of your life where your name unlocks doors. Type Amen to get blessing 388. Don't mourn the storm that never hit. Rejoice that your name was never vulnerable. You weren't spared by chance, you were spared by choice. Heaven declared, "This one is mine." And every force had to back away. That's why the turbulence ended so suddenly. You may never know how close it came. But you'll always feel the peace that followed. What you escaped without knowing could have shattered your entire path. But instead, you're stepping into purpose. Type Amen to get blessing 929. You are walking proof that God covers those who keep their hearts pure. Your name shines not because of fame, but because of faithfulness. The people who tried to confuse your journey are about to be confused by your blessing. They won't understand how it all turned in your favor so quickly. But you don't need to explain. Just keep walking. Keep glowing. The storm that turned back will be their reminder. Don't play with the chosen. Type Amen to get blessing 600. From this moment forward, your path is fireproof. Not because there won't be flames, but because your spirit cannot be burned. Everything trying to delay you is now disarmed. What used to slow you will now serve you. What hurt you before will now heal others through your story. This season carries a weight of restoration. And your name will be at the center of it. Signed in heaven. Protected on earth. Archangel Michael says, keep moving, even if you don't feel ready. Your protection is already ahead of you. Type Amen to get blessing 808. The divine shield around you was placed before you were born. That's why no evil has ever truly prospered. Even when it looked like it might win, it didn't. Now, you step into a life where storms look for you but pass by. Not because you're hidden, but because you're covered. Let this be your reminder, the same storm that turned away is now your proof. Proof that you are chosen. Proof that heaven speaks your name. And proof that nothing sent against you will ever succeed. Type Amen to get blessing 1010. You were never meant to drown in what others died in. That's why even when the winds picked up, your soul stayed calm. You were born with a divine lifeline others can't see. Now the very storm they predicted for you has become the evidence of your power. You didn't just survive, you were untouched. That's not luck. That's legacy. They saw the waves building, but they didn't know your name was written in the wind. And the wind knows who it can't touch. Your destiny was never up for debate. It was sealed from the start. Type Amen to get blessing 511. There's a reason you've been sensing change. It's because what was meant to arrive through disaster will now come through favor. No pain package, no suffering transit. You've graduated to a level where blessings arrive without the storm. Peace is your passport now. Joy is your new normal. Those who tried to speak storms into your world will now watch rainbows form over your name. You will be blessed in front of them, not behind them. No more hiding. This is your announcement season. You're no longer preparing quietly, you're rising loudly. Type Amen to get blessing 727. The energy that tried to trap you has now become your platform. They tried to dig graves, but instead, they uncovered wells of glory. You drink from what was meant to bury you. You rise from what was meant to ruin you. That's divine reversal, and it's not done yet. Every time your name was spoken with hate, blessings multiplied. The storm gave your name power. It added weight. It brought authority. Now your presence will silence rooms, not from intimidation, but from spiritual presence. Type Amen to get blessing 343. You may feel tired lately, not from weakness, but from spiritual warfare you didn't realize you just overcame. You didn't faint because you were fortified. Now comes restoration. Divine rest. Rebuilding from a place of victory, not survival. Archangel Michael says, the battle has ended, and the spoils are yours. You're not just walking out whole, you're walking out crowned. This storm that missed you was never about destruction. It was about elevation. Type Amen to get blessing 282. You are being prepared for recognition. Something big is aligning with your spirit, and your name will be tied to it. People you never imagined will mention you. The light around your life now carries attraction. It's not charisma, it's calling. You were marked the moment the storm turned back. Do you feel that stillness? That's heaven making room. Not just for blessings, but for breakthrough you didn't think was possible. The divine has cleared your path. You're walking into prophecy now. Type Amen to get blessing 909. There's one more thing to know: what tried to return this week was not from God. It was familiar energy sent to check if your gates were still weak. But they weren't. And now the storm has been fully sealed out. It can no longer reach you. The cycle is broken. The mirror is shattered. The access has been blocked. Nothing unclean can attach itself to you now. You've been spiritually disinfected. Type Amen to get blessing 999. Expect good news soon. Not just average updates, but divine confirmations. Something is being written in your favor, and your name is on the letter. People will ask how this happened, and you'll smile knowing it was already done in heaven. It just took time to manifest. The storm was a setup. A test. A moment for heaven to flex its authority in your life. And now, the results are about to be seen. Loudly. Publicly. Undeniably. Type Amen to get blessing 171. Every time you've cried in silence, an angel recorded it. Not to make you relive it, but to deliver repayment. In joy. In miracles. In multiplied grace. Now that the storm has passed, your restoration begins. And it won't be equal, it will be abundant. You are not just safe. You are selected. And your name is oil-slicked, light-wrapped, and storm-proofed forever. This is the season of reversal. And your name is stamped across the skies. Type Amen to get blessing 626. This is not the end of the message, this is just the turning point. Watch how fast the scenery shifts. What was once gray is about to burst into color. Heaven has held you in a cocoon. But now you break out. Not crawling, flying. The storm didn't leave, it bowed. And now, so will everything that tried to destroy you. Type Amen to get blessing 1444.